Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Life Stripes with Kathy and Duke. Kathy, today, man, I got to talk about COVID-19 once again.
Again?
I do, man, because you know why? I mean, every day we're seeing these numbers rise. They're going up.
Yeah.
400, 390, 400, 500. Today we're at, 700 cases.
700.
And a lot of them, 500, I believe 526 are reported in the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for us Ontarians? What does that mean? Should we
You
be
know,
afraid?
I think that it means the exact same thing as it's been meaning all of these months. It means take care of yourself, protect yourself, wear your mask. I know that the whole glove thing has gone out the window, I guess, for most people. But, it's about protecting yourself. I know that the numbers seem high, but just as you and I, we were just talking about this before we went on, for all of you to see us, it's really simple. The amount of people being tested has increased. And
That's
with
right.
that comes an increased number of positive tests. What does that actually mean? It means there are a lot of people walking around our streets with COVID who don't even know it. Why? Because they are asymptomatic, or their symptoms are presenting like allergies or like a common cold or whatnot. And therefore they have no need to get tested because they don't actually feel really sick or abnormally sick. It doesn't mean that they're not walking around with the virus. I don't even want to say this out loud, but it could be me and you. I don't think I am, I don't believe I am, but once again, when the numbers jump so dramatically because people are just getting tested, and they're not getting tested for any other reason than they're just curious and because they can, because the COVID clinics are doing it for free. A lot of kids, I know one lady whose son went to school and he had a little bit of a sniffle, and they would not let the kid back in school until he had a COVID test. He's not positive, but when you ask kids or anybody to wear a mask, your nose will run. Why? Because you're inhaling your own stale air. It's just the way it is, right? So people are going to get sniffles. People, I don't know, you do have a cough every now and again. It is what it is. But everyone's just getting hypervigilant, freaking out a little, going to get tested. Hence the rise in the numbers, right? School, work, everything's being activated again. Everyone wants to get tested. I get it.
And I want to call that out because, I mean, the stats and the numbers show the facts that in the spring, we weren't testing as many people.
No,
we weren't even equipped. We weren't ready
No.
as a country to test so many people.
Right.
We were getting kits from the States or where we could find them. Now we're better equipped to test people.
Right.
More people are going out and they're getting tested. So the numbers are going to look like there's more cases.
Right.
But truth be told, a lot of people out there also feel like, you know what, if I get COVID, why am I going to get tested? It's not like you can do anything for me anyway. So you're just getting a number from me, but you're not helping me. So I rather just stay home. Yeah, I've got it, but let it ride out and go from there. And
well, there's a catch-22 about that too, because you may have it and you may be fine, but if you are with an elderly parent or somebody who's more immune compromised, it's an issue, right? It's a very big issue. So we don't want to be so flippant about it and just like, okay, if I got it, I got it. No, it's really not that simple. And because the kids have gone back to school, or many people have chosen, and I will tell you this, that initially, we were going to send the kids to school, then we decided not to. And they literally just went back today. Today was their first day because the online school, the virtual school has its own set of issues. And
right. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We got reports from CP24 and regarding one of the public schools in Scarborough that 4 teachers or staff members, I won't even say teachers, but staff members have contracted COVID. One student has contracted it. So they decided to close that school down. I think up until Friday, they think they're going to close it down until they're going to do a deep clean and whatnot, right? But my thing is this, with public schools, high schools are doing it this way. You're going to high school for 2 hours, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and then you're doing the online at home. Public schools are not doing that. Do we feel that maybe public schools should follow that, or is that too hectic for parents to, be at home with their kids? I don't know.
Listen, when you've experienced the whole virtual school, it's great if you're a stay-at-home, mom or dad, but even if you're working from home and these kids are actually in a formal school setting, it's not like when COVID first started where they were going home and teachers weren't really correcting work. They weren't really checking. They weren't really getting graded. So parents were slacking off. It is what it is. But now that the kids are in formal school and there's a curriculum, things that they have to follow, when there's glitches on the computer and your kids need your help, when your kid's raising their hand and they're not getting attention and they're complaining, when the kid's walking around and they should be in front of the computer and they want a snack or they want to, it's like, what? So, being a parent who's working from home, it is challenging. And now a lot of jobs are saying you have to go back to work. So parents feel the need to put their kids in school. Right. And so as much as we're all afraid of COVID, or, we're hyper aware of COVID, people have to put their kids back in school. So here's the thing now. You put your kid back in school, and if they're coming home half day, then you have to take half day off. So it becomes the same, or you have to stop what you're doing and mind them for the other half of the day. It is a challenge. We had kids and people are like, oh, well, you had kids, you have to do what you have to do. Because I've heard that too. It's like, yes, but you also have to work. You have to make money. You can't always step away to go run behind, the computer glitch that your kid is having with their computer. So it's a very hard struggle. And so, yes, you're putting your kids in class. I do not want my kids home half the day. I don't, because they're not self-sufficient. High school, absolutely, no problem. But not in elementary school. They just need too much supervised attention, And as parents, this is challenging because we're not used to this. We've had our days planned out, our lives still go on, whether it's banking appointments or whatever it is that you do during the day when kids are in school. If you're not working or you have that day off and you got to do all your running around and stuff, well, you still can't leave the house. Why? Because the kids need to be on their computer. So it's like,
a lot of parents out there pulling out their hairs when their kids are home. So
yeah,
I get it. I mean, really again, I think it's just my only concern is that do they fall to be at a higher risk? Because, when kids being younger and stuff like that, are they practicing washing their hands, keeping their fingers out of their face, stuff like that?
Well, this is something that, we hope. I know I have trained my kids, and my daughter, she sucks her 2 fingers. She's very aware we are not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to do that. You have to wash your hands if you choose to. I don't care if you're sitting in class and you feel those fingers going towards you excuse yourself, go and wash your hands with some soap and water,
right.
That sort of thing.
Though, like you're relying on, a child to remember that and be very diligent in that, right? So I mean, even myself as an adult, sometimes I find myself touching my face, my nose, and I'm like, oh. So what do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I'm an adult, so we're putting that responsibility on children.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
It's tough. It's really, I don't know. And I think that's a lot of people, we just don't know. We do the best that we can, especially as parents with kids going to elementary school who need to either be there, or if you're home, that's fine. Great. I commend you if you can do it. We couldn't do it. And our kids just weren't getting the educational experience that I believe they needed, and not at all. So that was also a very big factor. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And people just need to cut themselves some slack. I don't know if the kids are going to get sick. I pray that they don't mind, and everybody else is. But if they do, we can only take this one step at a time. Be hyper vigilant in the way that we do our self-care and we do our hygiene care, because of COVID and the flu and everything else. But, just cut yourself some slack. If you got to send your kids to school, you got to send your kids to school. We tried to keep them home. It didn't work for other reasons, educationally and all that stuff. So we had to cut ourselves some slack. And that's really what this is about. One day, one step at a time.
So as we draw to our conclusion, do you think that the government should shut down the city again?
Do I think they should shut down the city? I think that the government is doing what it needs to do by making masks mandatory. I think that is a huge step. It's not an option, people. You got to do it. You have to do this. There are a lot of people who are not compliant, a lot of people who resist it. That's fine. Do that in your own home. But when you walk outside your house, you put that mask on if you're going into an establishment where there are going to be other people. I don't believe that the city should be shut down completely. I think, with the amount of people in certain areas or certain places at a certain time, I get it. That's fine. And everybody wear your mask, but we have to function. We have to function. Businesses have to make money. There are so many businesses that are losing money. There are so many people that have lost their jobs. I can't even imagine what the bankruptcy rates, what the bankruptcy amounts look like nowadays, and how many people are applying for them, businesses and individuals. It's a horrible time for people. And so shutting down the city again, do they have more CERB to pay people? Like, I can't even get CERB. I wish I could get some CERB.
That's the thing. I mean, with all the CERB that's being handed out, I'm afraid that, when we do go back to normal, a lot of people are going to be paying back the government
Absolutely.
a shitload of money.
Absolutely.
We're going to be like, oh, where am I supposed to find this money to pay back the government? But it's
Yeah.
just one of those things. This crisis has happened. This pandemic has happened. The government's helping. But at some point, it's going to reverse, and money is going to be owed.
And it's still going to be bad.
Taxes are going to go up.
From financial. Yeah.
Your deficit. And I was telling my friends this morning, like on our WhatsApp chat, saying, listen, man, the government won't. I don't think that they will. I'm not saying that they won't, but I don't think that they will shut down the city again, because it would cripple us economically.
Yes.
And we can't afford for lost jobs and people who can't pay their loans, their mortgages, their payments, medical expenses, whatever they have that's outstanding, student loans, stuff like that.
Car payments, you said it, yeah. All of that.
It's only going to get worse, right? So
only going to get worse.
Unfortunately, there's some small businesses that have shut down. They've closed their doors, but on a bright note, a lot of businesses have created their businesses online, so that you can still get their goods and services online, and that might even be better, because now you don't have that overhead of running a business downtown or uptown or wherever you have it, and spending that cost for mortgage or rent or leasing and all that stuff, right? So if I could say there's a plus to the pandemic, it has taught us to be more diligent in finding new ways to function. You've
hit the nail on the head, and I don't want to tell too much, but as you know, I've got something else going on, and it's really exciting, lots of fun. I took myself back to school during the pandemic, so things are happening, and it's really, and I think I've said this before, it's how you look at it, how you choose to look at it. We could look at this as the most horrible thing that's ever happened to us on the planet. And for some people, yes, it is. Or we can look at it in a whole other way and say, this is an opportunity to slow down, to really focus in on what it is that we want to do and what we want to accomplish in this life, and either re-educate ourselves, look for new jobs, and just get ourselves out there in a very different way, and come out of COVID almost a different person, for the better, really. Just be very conscious, very aware of every move that we make, every penny we spend. Get financially savvy, people. Get financially savvy. Because if this was just a wake-up call, then let it be a wake-up call in the right direction.
Exactly. So I'll end it off like this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is a great episode of Life Strikes with Kathy and Duke, but let's be clear here. Yes, the numbers are going up. They are. But we're doing more testing. So don't be alarmed when you see those numbers. Still do the same things. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and be fucking safe. Excuse my language. Peace.